travel with me for a moment on a rocket ship. You're floating through the ship, and you're heading towards a window. And you reach out and you brace your hand so that you can hold still for a minute and gaze out at what has been called the big blue marble. And it looks just like that, with the vast blue oceans and the swirly white clouds. You are amazed at how small the earth looks across the vastness of space. You've seen the sun outside of the same window a few moments ago, and you marvel at the Earth's intricate ecosystem that allowed just enough of the sun's rays to be absorbed in the atmosphere to support life. You marvel at the numerous forms of life spread out across the world, and you think about the communities of people, and you wonder what it will take to maintain the balance and the health of the world and the people who inhabit it. For millions of years, the sun's rays have traveled into the Earth's atmosphere, with some of them being absorbed and many, many more of them being bounced off the Earth's surface back into space, creating a temperature on Earth that is perfect to support life as we know it. The Earth's atmosphere is undergoing a dramatic change. We know it as global warming. An overly simplistic explanation of global warming, bear with me, I promise it's super simple. There is more carbon dioxide and other gases in the atmosphere than before. And the Earth's vegetation is being stripped away so rapidly that it is not able to absorb and process as much carbon dioxide as is being trapped in the atmosphere. Keeping with that very simplified explanation, what is needed to correct this problem is a reduction in the amount of carbon dioxide generated at the Earth's surface and an increase in the vegetation so that that carbon dioxide can be absorbed and processed. If we are to rebalance the Earth's atmosphere to allow just enough of the sun's rays to be absorbed in order to support life, we need to make some changes in the world. And we need to do it sooner than later. The longer we wait, the more corrective action is needed. We see global warming's impact through climate changes, leading to the extinction of species, weather extremes, and food and freshwater scarcity. I want to acknowledge that there are many issues, including economic, social, and racial justice issues, that affect who enjoys access to drinkable water and food and shelter and other resources. The quality of existence that I envision for the Earth, a sustainable world, is the quality of life I want for all people. Environmental justice is critical for our future survival as human beings. However, the human beings who live here now must not be neglected in the name of environmental justice. Addressing the needs of the Earth's atmosphere and the needs within our human communities is complex. It's overwhelming, right? But that is the beauty of community. That is the beauty of humanity. That we are blessed with the ability to brainstorm and collaborate and innovate. The Sustainable South Bronx Foundation, founded by Majora Carter, is working at that intersection of environmental justice and economic and social justice. The foundation has been able to address the issue of reducing carbon dioxide emissions and the issue of creating jobs by starting the Bronx Environmental Stewardess Training Program, which was one of the country's very first urban green-collar training and placement programs. They have also been able to address increasing the amount of vegetation needed to allow more carbon dioxide to be absorbed, while also getting an illegal dump in a neighborhood cleaned up and turned into a waterfront park by securing the development of the Hunts Point Riverside Park. If one is thinking and acting holistically, there are many, many creative ways to address the looming issue of climate change and other social justice issues. One way that I try to maintain a holistic point of view is through my spiritual practices. I have two spiritual practices that are based on my personal connection with the earth, which includes my relationship with nature and my relationship with people. One of my spiritual practices is to spend what time I can in nature, which usually takes the form of a walk along the lakefront. The other is service to causes I value. During his time as president of the Unitarian Universalist Association, Reverend Peter Morales put forth the idea that love is our doctrine. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. He went on to say, if prayer is the word we use to describe connecting to what is sacred, I think service may be the best form of prayer. And if the purpose of a spiritual practice is spiritual growth, service is a powerful spiritual discipline. When we serve, we become more compassionate, more sensitive, more understanding, and more aware. We are reminded of how precious and fragile life is. Prayer is the only spiritual practice I have carried over from my youth. And I am much more disciplined about it now, but I had to work at it, to schedule it in, until it became second nature. I have my off days, I get busy, I am tired, and then I have to plan prayer back into my days again until I get back in the habit. I have taken the same approach with my service to causes I value. For some things, like emailing my legislatures or recycling, it has become habit. But for other things, I still have to schedule it in. When my wife and I learned about the decrease in the bee populations, we decided to plant a bee-friendly miniature garden in our condo porch and put a hive for the orchard mason bees on the wall. This required that I schedule a unit owners meeting in my condo building at which I explained how the bees are disappearing and what that means for humans, and that the pollinating bees that fit in this particular hive do not have stingers. Once clear on the bee anatomy, we were cleared to install the hive. For me, service to environmental issues is a spiritual practice. And while I would love for each of you to be a climate change crusader, I know that each of us comes to our own type of service in our own unique way. One of the great joys of Pride Weekend is the reminder that each of us is unique and important. And just as each of us are unique, so will our service be unique and important. As Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker said in our reading, your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. You must answer, what will I do with my gifts? Choose to bless the world. The choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with the intention to do good. It is an act of recognition, a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery abide. Reverend Morales echoes this, saying, one of the great lessons of all religious traditions is that we only find ourselves when we lose ourselves in service to something that transcends us. I encourage you to get involved with service to a cause that you value, so that the next time you are floating on your rocket ship and you gaze out at the big blue marble outside the window, you can marvel at the balanced and healthy world you helped create.